Hello there. I am so friggin' excited today because I get to chat with one of my favorite people. Her name is Paige Hayes. She has a Jammin' Facebook group. She has a really cool short-term rental design company that she's going to tell us all about. But I like to start out with just telling people how I know this person. And Paige and I were just talking a minute ago about how the heck do we know each other, and it's super interesting. So in 2023, I think it was, we went to a conference together. Not together, we were at the same conference. It was about short-term rentals, and we were supposed to meet, like there was like a little meetup area that I think I was in the same area, but I didn't know what she looked like, so I didn't say anything. I think somebody even said, well, this is Paige. And nothing connected. And then later on during that conference, it finally connected, and we were in the bathroom at the same time. And we literally sat in that bathroom for like 45 minutes and just chatted about like all things, and we connected, and I'm pretty much certain that she was like one of my friend's soulmates in a different life. So starting like that, yay, no pressure, Paige, being your awesome self. But can you tell me about the company that you built and like how it happened and that, and introduce yourself? Sorry.
Oh, no, that's cool. That's awesome. I am Paige, and I'm Paige Hayes. I own Hayes and Co. Interiors, and I do short-term rental interior design. And yeah, our bathroom conversation will always live in my mind as as like a peak conversation of my life. So really enjoyed that. And I mean, I know we just like connected. It was crazy like how quickly we connected. Honestly, to like stay in the bathroom and talk to somebody for that long, like you have to have something going on, right?
Some kind of magic happening.
Yeah. Bathroom magic. Sorry.
It's okay.
So yes, I'm Paige, and I do short-term rental design. I've done it for a long time now. I've done design for over a decade, and I guess I don't know. Sometimes I get tired of hearing myself say this exact thing. So I'm always like, oh, I need to try to change it or make it a little bit more interesting or different sometimes. But it just is what it is. I guess it's my life. So it's a recap. I've done design for over a decade now, and started out in high-end full-service residential design in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So we did like a lot of like really, really big second homes for people, and then also like ski condos. And I always really liked the ski condos, like the vacation rentals, because they were more, I don't know, just more fun, more exciting. And I worked for my mom, who taught me everything that I know about design. So I'm a second generation designer. And we're doing great. We did great, but we also, my husband and I have always loved to travel. And he worked at the power plant in Hayden, Colorado, which is a good job. You know what I mean? Like, by all accounts, it's a solid, secure job. But it was terrible. It was terrible for him. He like never got to see the light of day. We never got to see each other. We actually like each other, you know, like we like hanging out with each other. And we realized that we just really didn't like care very much about all of the things, like the house and the nice cars and all these things, you know, that we thought we were supposed to have. So we decided to just scrap it and do things differently. And decided to travel full time. So we've been doing that for 3 years now. And I do design exclusively virtually, which is kind of how I started my communities and started connecting with people, and like really got into short-term rental design. So
this is amazing. Like I resonate so much with these kinds of stories, because it's true. Like what society maybe wants us to do you don't actually have to prescribe to that. You can, it's totally cool, but
there are no rules.
Actually, no, there's totally no rules. And that's one of my favorite parts about you, is like finding out, well, where is Paige this week? Because you do get to do some really cool travel, and it's not like you go to a ton of places in a little short period of time, but you go to some really cool places and you still function completely the same as you would as if you were sitting in Colorado in your house, and you're half the time not there at that house. So I love that. And I wanted to, can you also tell us about your Facebook group? I know this is like a really random subject that I feel like I've been putting on some of these episodes, but people that can somehow build a Facebook group with more than like 1,000 people amaze me, because it's not like a small thing. Like getting 1,000 people to say yes to the like button, I get those notifications all the time and I'm like, nah, I'm good. So tell us a little bit about like what it is.
Yeah, my Facebook group is dedicated solely to short-term rental design. And I started it. And so when we, again, like kind of when we were starting to look into STR investing, that's when I started joining Facebook groups about it. Traditionally, I've just used like Facebook groups as just like very niche ways to get information. Like I'm in an RV quilters group, like, you know, we live in an RV and I like to quilt, and there's an RV quilters group, right? So like there's just like a very niche way to get to know or like get information on different things. And so I started hopping into those when we started looking at investing ourselves into short-term rentals. And I was like, there's just not much information in here about design, but it's so important, you guys. Like, it's so important. And I would like share things, and then there would be a lot of engagement, but I guess didn't get the rules or something. A lot of times my stuff would get taken down. I wasn't trying to like shamelessly self-promote, but it would get taken down. And then I was like, okay, like there's actually not a place that's dedicated to this. Like, there isn't a place where these resources exist. People need a lot of this value. So I guess I'll just make one. And so I did. And I just started sharing, I guess, like my process and the way I do things, and just giving as much advice and help and connecting with as many people as possible. And it like blew up. It exploded. I never anticipated like what it would turn into. And it's been so awesome. It's been a crazy journey.
I love this. And how many people are in your Facebook group right now? About
11.4 thousand.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, more than 10,000 people have been like, okay, this is what I want. Like, one of the things I love about your Facebook group is you can go in there and it's not like a nasty place. Like, a lot of free Facebook groups are just like a gross place to be, because they, like, people will all of a sudden, you'll get like 10 hateful people on a post and you're like, I don't need that. I'm asking for help. That's the reason I posted. And that's what I love about your Facebook community is you can throw a picture in there or a whole entire listing of a short-term rental, which some people might not know. That's like an Airbnb and VRBO, so vacation place that you're renting. And you could throw it in there and be like, this just isn't working. Like, what should I do? And you'll get all kinds of real feedback. You might get links of like where to buy something. And then you'll also like, I know that you weed out, or you specifically say, these are the people that are allowed to provide their services in this group. And I love that about this group, because it's just like a safe space for design, and it's so fun because it's all different, like, and we get excited about different things. So it's fun to be in your Facebook group. And
oh yeah, I love that. I love it. Well, like, that's the idea. Like, I know how much work it takes. We all know how much work and love and care and effort go into creating these spaces, and like whether it ends up like perfectly amazingly designed or not, like somebody worked really hard on that. And so like cutting down people who are just trying to improve or like have already worked really hard on something, like I have gotten no time for that in life. Like, that is not how we roll at all. And yeah, just lifting people up is like absolutely the platform I stand on.
Yeah, I love that. That's why we're kindred spirits. That's why I love you so
agree.
much. It's like, we don't need this nonsense. We're just trying to help each other. And honestly, some of this stuff is so fast paced. Like, we're just going 90 miles an hour. So like that hate and that nonsense, it's just not That's not needed.
Yep.
Let's just skip that part and just like go to the helping part. um, so this kind of actually might go into like my next question. I talk a lot about self-limiting beliefs and like business owners have these, and some people like, I mean, influencers, business owners, people that have podcasts, like people that people just put other people on like a pedestal. I know a lot of people have self-limiting beliefs, and especially business owners. Like people might think that we're super confident and have no like we just don't think bad about ourselves, but I feel like that's actually a lie, and I want more people to concentrate on actually we just get over those self-limiting beliefs. So can you tell me anything about like, do you have a couple of self-limiting beliefs that you have and maybe you continuously get over them, or just like your experience with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I've struggled probably like a lot of women, former girls, like from our generation. Like I've struggled with self-esteem, like, you know, basically my whole life. I am lucky, I don't know. I've had some experiences that have really helped me through it. Like weirdly, so I went to a wilderness program when I was a teenager, when I was 16, and it was like really hardcore and like really intense and not like a happy experience at all. But I was forced to kind of like push through so much stuff, and it really left me with a very strong sense that I am capable of anything. And so I'm fortunate to have had that experience. And you know, kind of just other things throughout my life. Like my dad has always said, if you don't ask, you don't get. He always said that. And so just kind of like these little things, I've tried to, instead of letting the voices in my head like question what I'm doing or think that I can't, or even think that there's like a universe that exists where where I may not get the outcome that I'm looking for. Like I've tried to kind of just reframe that, and it works really well, but you have to practice it, you know, like you have to know that you can do anything because you can. And I'm trying to kind of articulate this in a way that's, I don't know, a little bit better stated, but even as recently as like a year ago, like I was really questioning myself and like social media and some things about this industry, because there are some areas of it that are not as positive, that are, in my opinion, kind of scammy and like really, you know, you have to do this if you want to be successful, you have to do that, and kind of like cutting people down to build them up. And I was feeling really discouraged because I was like, if this is how it is, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be part of it. And then again, like I just came finally back around to like, it's like, well, there are no rules. There are no rules that say you have to do anything. You know, like I can do whatever the fuck I want. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
You can swear.
And I'm just gonna. And so like I didn't worry about how I was posting things anymore, about like using a certain formula. I didn't worry about trying to like upsell or funnel or do any of these things. And it made such a difference. All of a sudden, like everything was going so much better. So I think that's probably the thing that sticks with me the most. Is just like literally you can do whatever you want. There are no rules.
I think that's absolutely fantastic, because I do think we all get caught up in these moments where it's like, well, I can't do that. Fill in the blank. There's so many excuses. All I do is listen to people's excuses. And if I'm comfortable enough, I will call them out on them, because it's like, actually, like, why you're right when you keep preaching there's no rules, because there isn't anything. Like most of it is a construct that somebody else came up with that worked really well for that person. And what works really, really well for Grant Cardone works really well for Grant Cardone. It doesn't have to work well for Tanya Rooney and Paige Hayes and all these other people. Like there's no one size fits all. Like what we want to do every day you just make it up and make it work and do it consistently. And it's magical when you're like in alignment, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. Exactly. And like, and I think a lot of people a lot of people uh, are worried about like failing or whatever. And so, and that's where like I know you say it like you said, like must be nice, or how do you say it? Is that what you say? Must be
Must be
nice.
rough.
Must be rough. Yep. Okay. Yep. On my end, what I hear is usually it must be nice. Like, and so, and I think that a lot of that does come from like insecurity, people who want to do things but feel like they can't. But it is nice. It is nice when you just do it, and you don't have to like failure isn't really a thing is another thing that I've realized. Like just like there are no rules, there's also no such thing as failure. Like it's kind of a cliche, I guess, but they say like you either like succeed or you learn. And I really have tried to internalize that as much as possible because yeah, like I don't know, the consequences are rarely terribly dire.
Yeah, they're really, that's a really good and easy way to put it. That it's like nobody died. We're doing okay. We're not doing brain surgery by like traveling more, whatever it is. And I know when you just mentioned the must be nice or must be rough sentiment, I'm certain you get so much flack because you literally will up and bring your whole entire family to Panama for 2 months or to France for 3 months, or like, I mean, didn't you live in like India or Asia or something for a few months, like a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Like people, and the fact that there's so many people out there that can't wrap their heads around that. Like, how old are your boys right now?
3 and 6.
So you essentially brought like a 1-year-old or a 3-year-old. Like I know you did this a few years ago, at least that, some of these like other continents, and you just took them and you just lived somewhere else. And people just think, well, I couldn't do that. And again, fill in the blank of all the excuses that they're going to make. And like people coming up to you or even to me to say like must be rough or must be nice, if I hear that comment, I'm just like, actually, like we're just picking the way we want to live our lives. Like this is super cool. Like you don't have to be jealous, you don't have to live vicariously through people. You could put in a little effort, and within a year or two you could probably be doing that exact same thing. Like now you guys are homeschooling your boys, or at least I know one of them is school age. And weird, you can still go to Panama and live in a completely different culture and teach them all kinds of things and still teach them curriculum to make sure that they're, keeping up with their age group and still do those things. Like, yeah, it is nice. It is nice. Must be nice. Is
Yeah.
nice.
It is nice. And there's always work that goes into it, like, and I think it was like it was a blog post that you wrote, right? That about this, it stuck with me. Yeah. Because there's always work that goes into it, and you have to, you can manifest things, like absolutely you can, but like you can't just sit on the couch and like manifest things. Like you have to actually, if you want something in the world, you have to like indicate that you want it by acting towards it, and then you can just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just think about all these things that like, I mean, we all have to work hard actually every single day. Like you have to choose your heart. I don't remember who said that, but choose your heart is like one of my favorite sentiments because yeah, like, I mean, you could do so many things with your life, and all of it is hard work in the beginning, but then all of a sudden it's easy. Like you guys, the way you guys travel now, like in the beginning it might have been more hard, but now you guys are like, no, this is like second nature. Like this is what we do. Our kids have backpacks on their back and they're okay. They're going to be fine carrying their little backpacks of clothes, and we're fine doing all of these things, and figuring out how to run errands in different countries while having little boys.
Yeah, that is actually exhausting, to be honest. But like you said, like, and that's like, there are always going to be challenges, and like things are always going to come up, no matter what you're doing in life. Like good things, like you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. So like you said, it's just about kind of figuring out what your goals are, working towards them, like however you can, making small decisions every day. And but yeah, so it just, I don't know. There are challenges in anything that we do in life. And I think, again, just adjusting and trying to like instead of, I don't know, instead of always thinking that you can't do something or finding the reason that you can't, just accept that you can and like, do you want to and how are you going to?
Yeah, that's I think this is awesome. Like you're like one of the easiest examples to use. Like when I refer to people doing, building their dreams in a way, like you live a lifestyle that a ton of people are envious of. But it's funny because whenever somebody even says that stuff to me, I'm just like, well, go do it. That's the answer. Just go do that thing then. And you're a great example. Like you're like, I love it. I love watching where you're going next with your kids and your stuff. And again, you're literally building your business alongside. Like you've been building your business like for so long and you're just like, you make it look effortless. I know it's not effortless, but you make it look it. So it's kind of fun to follow a person like you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump into another thing. So I'm big on people doing what's really unique to them, like along the lines of your superpower. Do you know what your superpower is?
So it's funny that a lot of what you do, and again, like I feel like maybe so connected, and you're talking about communities and stuff and the importance of communities, because when I first thought about this question and I was like, oh, like creativity, and then I was like, I was like finding cheap shit on the internet, like that's a superpower of mine. No, but like honestly, I do feel like community building, particularly online community building, is my superpower. It's something that like feel like I'm good at, and it comes naturally in a way that I never expected, and like I love it.
I think that's fantastic. When do you feel like you notice that this is like a thing that you're good at? Was it because I prompted you, or have you known about it for a little while?
I've known about it for a little while. I think, like I said, I started that Facebook group, and I've since started actually a number of other Facebook groups, including like a membership community that is just for designers and designers who either want to kind of do what I do and, have the like location freedom for whatever reason they want it, or time freedom if they're moms, if they just whatever, trying to help people build their businesses. And then I also have another group that's just for short-term rental designers specifically. And so just connecting with people and getting to know them and networking and just bringing people together and sharing knowledge. Like I've realized, I think it was probably like over the past year that it's like really sunk in that like this is what I really love to do. I really love this.
And you're good at it. Because people don't talk to people that aren't
It
good.
helps to be good at what you love. It does help if you're good at it.
No, that's super awesome. I love that. Obviously, I'm such a big community person. So anybody that I meet, I'm just like, yes, you understand how important this is. So can you tell me, did you mean to set out like we're going to keep on the pretty much the short-term rental design community that you've built, like it's like I know that's three of your communities pretty much combined into one. Did you intend to set out to build that community? Did you have any idea? No.
Not at all. No. Yeah, like I said, I started the group, and then I just started posting stuff in the group and answering people's questions, and it just, I mean, I guess I had like an intention in the way that I did like start a group dedicated to something specific, but I had no idea what it would become, and it's been really cool. I just try to let it grow and develop in whatever way feels like the most natural.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. How did your community help you to get to where you are? Like, I know it's like these people have encouraged you and stuff, but tell me like how that has affected your business and what, like, if it was text messages with people in your community, if they encouraged you to do certain things, like tell me about that.
Yeah. This community, I mean, my Facebook group aside, I feel like the short-term rental investor and whatever we want to call this community, that we are all part of is
Mhm.
really unique in the way that like we are able to connect with each other, and like everybody can bring something to the table, and we're all over the place, all over the world, like, and we're all from like just very different demographics, very different walks of life. But we are all kind of here focused on this one thing that we hope is going to like, improve all of our lives individually, like through our investments and stuff. So it's a really amazing, just unique kind of environment to start with. But I think that
Mhm.
it's helped my business tremendously, honestly, because like I said, I didn't even really like start out with an intention to like do virtual, or I mean to do short-term rental design exclusively. It just kind of
Mhm.
built, and it was through posting and yeah, like DMs and text messages, and really just, I mean, I love making friends with people. I love like connecting with people, and I just love talking. And if I can help with something, like I want to. And so I think I've put forth like a lot of effort without I guess without an expectation that anything necessarily would come back from it, just because I was like enjoying helping out. But it's led to a lot of referrals and a lot of people mentioning my name somewhere, or just saying, "Oh, hey, I have a friend
Mhm.
who does this," and it's been really amazing. So it's helped my business. Like I can't even. It's hard to separate the two at this point.
Well, I think it's really cool because I almost feel like you're like, and you're like my head famous. Like to me, you're a famous person, and I think of that. It's just like
Oh,
I
that's
say that
silly.
in the way that I know of you, but I found out about you because of word of mouth. Anybody that I invite, like if somebody starts talking about short term rental design and they need some help, I'm like, oh, you should go to Paige's group. Like I don't even hesitate that. So it's interesting because you're literally like a person that, and that's why I say in my head you're famous because you're the person. I think like you're, maybe famous is the wrong word that I just think of. Like you're my subject matter expert, and I think everyone should know of you. And when they don't, I'm like, how do you not know who Paige Hayes is? Like, who are you even? Are you even paying attention in our industry? And I know that that's just like the way I think. So it's really interesting because I feel like the reason that your Facebook group got big and your community is big is literally because of word of mouth. And isn't that amazing how somebody's personality and helpfulness is the reason that they're doing well? Like, can you ask for anything more? Like, I don't think so. Like, that sounds like a freaking cool life.
Oh, that's the way the world should
Because
be. And it makes me really happy for you to say that, to like the point that I'm like almost in tears. I'm not gonna lie. Like that whole thing just meant a whole lot to me. So thank you for saying that. Dang. Okay.
yeah, well,
Oh
but
man. I'm getting emotional. This is ridiculous.
I didn't mean to do that, hate Paige, but it's true. Like the only reason I knew about you is because of word of mouth. Like the people that I talk to that know of you, like we can just talk. Like I'm going to tell everybody this story that I did just tell Paige. I was just at a conference and I wanted to meet a gal that Paige works with. Like Paige has a company that she does the design and then somebody else does the setups, and they do it all over the place. So I've watched this lady start getting familiar with Instagram and it's really fun to watch her. And I wanted to meet her, but I didn't want to awkwardly just be like, "Hey, my name is Tanya. Like, how's it going?" Because it's really not how I roll. So I walked up to her and I'm just like, "Hi, Kim. My name is Tanya. I saw that you started working with Paige and I just wanted to tell you I love Paige." And like literally we talked about our love of this human that does great things because you're helpful and you create a safe space just by being you. And that's like, I feel like that's my dream too, is like, just how do I create a safe space for somebody to be in that they can ask silly questions or get connected to people that they don't already know and just feel like included. And I think you've done a great job of that. And I was able to like do that with somebody else by just being like, I know there's a lot of things coming up on the internet right now about you need to have friends in your circle that are talking about you somewhere else. And that's what I feel like when I think of you, that I'm just like, oh, I want to talk about Paige like that, because I think you've created a really cool thing. And it's fun. Like, I feel like it's a really important piece of our business in short-term rentals, but it's an important piece of like life. Like communities should be like that.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Like we just all got to be here for each other. And you do that though. Like if you said it's your dream to like create that, like you already have, and that's who you are. And that's again, like why we vibe, because that's how you do it too. So, meeting your people and yeah, making those people your circle is what's important too. You know, like I don't have time for the negative people. Like we don't need those people who aren't gonna, say nice things about us other places.
That's true.
You just gotta hang with the good folks.
Yeah, just think about like, the people that are around you. Like, who do you want around you? Is it 5 people that are those kinds of people, or 5 people that are celebrating each other for awesome wins and things like that? Like whenever I see like you finish a project and you put it on, I'm just like, I want it to be like, yay, good for you. Like that's what I want for people, for me. So I'm starting to put that out there that I should do that for other people. And genuinely, I just am excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, can you tell me, I would like to throw this one in. What is your biggest miss? Like kind of like a failure, but I don't consider things failures, like they're just learning things. So like what's your biggest miss?
So, okay, this isn't something that I talk about very much because it's like a very significant part of kind of our journey to get here, but it's not something that fits tidily into like an about me section or like a blurb or anything. So when we decided that we were going to travel full time, we did it after our youngest son was born, and we went to Alaska for a month. Right after he was born, Justin took time off work. He took off like a bunch of time through FMLA, and we went up there and we were like, this is what we need to be doing with our lives. Okay, like we just need to hang out together all the time. So that was our jumping off point. At that, when we were there, we like met this other couple and their family who own a lodge there. And we really hit it off. They seemed really awesome, really nice, really cool. And like we kind of just went our separate ways. But then later in that summer, they called us and were like, do you guys want to come up here and run our lodge? You can have 3 months off every year. Like it was, and they promised a lot of things, and it all sounded very, very great. And we were like, this is it. We took that jump. Like that was our leap. And we sold our house. We got everything ready. Like we drove our 5th wheel through the Yukon with a 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old, and almost 1-year-old in April in like terrible blizzards, negative temperatures during COVID, like couldn't cross the border without papers. Nobody was on the road. That was a challenge. Like when we talk about challenges, that was a challenge of our life. We got there, like, and it very quickly, very clearly was not at all what it was supposed to be. Like, it was not good. So, like, to the point, like, we were there for like a week, and then Justin and I like went on a drive and were like, let's talk about this. Like, this isn't good. What do we do? And so we decided to leave. We were like, we can't stay around for this. It was real bad. So at
Mhm.
that point, we were like stuck in Alaska during COVID after we had sold our house and done like all these like crazy life changing, like leap of faith kind of things. And then it didn't work out. So like worst case scenario, right? Um,
Mhm.
we even started like looking at job postings back in the States. But then I was like, okay, like, just give me a little bit of time. I was like, I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna try and see, if anybody needs help with design around here. So again, Facebook groups, posted in a local Facebook group, and I was inundated like immediately. And that's how I started doing virtual design and like what I'm doing right now. And so yeah, that was, I would say, like instantly without a doubt, like my biggest miss. But again, it turned into something.
It turned into your biggest win.
Exactly.
Like, because now you get to like live the life that you're living that makes you literally the most happy.
Yep. Exactly. Like it's better.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just love so many things about what you just said because for real, like we think that everything is like these big mistakes or these big failures or whatever, but look at how your biggest miss became your biggest win because Justin didn't have to go back to the nuke plant and start working or the power plant or whichever he worked for. And you get to watch your baby boys like grow up with you and you get to teach them all the cool things about, being a person and how cool. So fun. Oh, this is just the best thing. Okay, I have a couple more questions, not a ton, but one of them, I would like to know if you could fix one thing, what would it be? I am intentionally leaving this blank, like vague, because it can be big or small, it can be personal, it can be global. I don't care. Like, what do you think?
Oh my gosh. Whoa. Hmm. I was not prepared for this one, but I can take
Totally
a
cool.
second for it.
You can. You can. Take as much time as you need.
Fix something. I don't know. I don't know that there's really anything to fix. Like I try to fix things in my own life every day, like, and that's all I really have control over, I guess. But I just I try to, like, work wise, I do try to like make things easier and more streamlined for clients, for people in the STR environment to try to like, I don't know, make a difficult process a lot easier. So like trying to fix something that never was like broken, but is actually just kind of coming together because there never really was a system for short-term rental design or like all of this, but trying to put one together and make it a lot less stressful for people. That's something I try to fix. But I don't know. In general, it changes on a daily basis, I guess. I can't fix the world's problems. That's something I've realized. I can't even think about the world's problems, honestly, because it's too much. So,
No, that's perfect. That's exactly like I said. I was intentionally leaving it vague so that you could kind of say whatever comes to mind. Okay, and then I think I've got a last one. So at the end of every episode, I want to connect people if it's ever possible. So, what one thing are you looking for right now?
right now, I am like struggling in a good way. I'm like very fortunate that my business is growing quickly and has the ability to grow quickly. But I'm really struggling with like the tasks involved in that. And I could really like, if anybody else does, I could just really use help with like, I don't even know if it's admin tasks or if it's even like managing time or how to manage admin tasks and like leads and quoting and project management. Like I really could use help with that. So that's
Okay.
my thing.
Yeah. So All right. If anybody out there is listening that might be able to help with something like that or give any suggestions or connect her to a company or a VA or somebody like that, please reach out to me so I can connect you with Miss Paige. And yeah, do you have anything else that you want to chat about?
No, I just thank you. Thanks for including me and thinking of me. And it just makes me so happy. I think of you all the time and I'm always like, I wonder what Tanya's up to. And a lot of times I message you when I think of you, but other times if I don't, just know I think of you a lot and I think you're amazing and what you're doing is awesome. And thanks for
Uh,
having me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those oodles of compliments, and I think of the same thing. That I'm just like, how do I do this like Paige does this? Like, this is it's a cool spot to be in when you can just be like, when you like somebody enough to want that and just want good things for somebody and not have to fix anything. Oh, it's so lovely. So, I
Absolutely.
appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me today, and I will put in show notes your Facebook group if somebody wants to get connected. But if somebody does want to connect outside of your Facebook group, what do you typically suggest?
Instagram is great if you kind of just want to join in and hang. And then if anybody's looking for design services specifically, then my website is hayesandco.com and there's like an inquiry form, which is again me trying hard to manage leads and systems. That is the very best way if you're interested in design to just go right there. Please, thanks.
No, that's perfect. And honestly, I've used your design services before and they are fantastic. So, go definitely reach out to her if you need some help or just advice on how to do some things within the design world. Like, this is a person that has figured out a niche that I feel like is doing pretty well. So if somebody's going to mimic, if you're going to copy somebody, copy Hayes. Miss
Thanks.
Hayes knows what she's doing. So, all right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it and see you next week.